Good evening. I, like many of you, have been trying to figure out how do I teach, how do I share, how do I convey what I'm feeling and thinking to my students about the recent murder of George Floyd, about racial tensions in America, about racism from adults in power, about death, and about their world as they prepare to leave us in school for a number of weeks where they will be on their own for the most part, have access to media and news, some of which is biased in a way that's not helpful, especially to young people. I've been trying to think about ways that I can do that and express to you how you can do the same, especially when you're not comfortable, where you're not confident in the words you might use. So here's a couple of ideas. Number one, talking about race at any point for most people at some point in their lives is not easy because it's not a practiced topic. So when you consider yourself someone who has to address the classroom, should address the classroom, because this is the world your children live in, consider how comfortable and confident you are. Do you have practice speaking about race? If so, use the words that feel natural to you and appropriate for the age group which you are addressing. Have confidence that you will do the best you can to express to them that their world is volatile and dangerous, especially for young black men, especially for people of color, especially for those not of power or influence. Have confidence that if you make mistakes, the students listening to you will appreciate the effort and not dwell on the mistake as much as the validation of your words that their world, from their perspective as young people, is okay, that their sadness, their feelings of frustration, their feelings of fear that you have shared from your perspective are real, and that there are people in the world that will help take care of them. And the younger they are, the more they need help processing that fear around what they've seen and heard and transferring it or getting it towards safety as soon as possible. The reason teaching race is so important is because all people, independent of the age they are at, are always looking for more information. That's what we do. So they have their family's perspectives, and children appreciate that, and they grow up from those perspectives and sense of values. But they're smart enough to know that there's other people of influence in their lives, and some of the most influential are teachers. If you're not so confident in what you want to say, because talking about race is something you're not practiced in, then do your homework first. Your homework can include personal research, personal reflection, writing before speaking, reading before writing and speaking. Do your homework includes reading other people's words, trying to figure out what they mean to you, and speaking them out loud to the mirror, to your partner, to your roommate, to figure out what words fit who you are and what you want to say to your children. It takes practice. You might have practice in your subject area of mathematics or social studies. You might have practice speaking to adults or family about challenging topics such as race, sexual orientation, murder, divisive politics. In whatever way you don't have practice in one of those topics, homework is a must. After that homework and practice speaking and finding the words that work for you, your children are waiting for those words. And so there's another level of practice that's required to speak about race, and that is putting yourself in front of, mentally, with a vision of your class in front of you, whether that be across Zoom or in real life or other video conferencing, and repeating what you want to say with that vision in your head. Because once you have their attention in real time, things change. The feelings and anxiety of speaking something new rise up. The emotion from the situation gets involved. So the practice is a must. As you move forward in speaking about the murder of George Floyd, other young black people, other African American adults throughout this country, those who suffered in the Latino community in camps and cages near the border, anybody who's been oppressed, especially in these last number of years, in some way by an executive order or law. What children are waiting for is your message about what it all means as they move forward with you through the school year. And now that we're ending the school year, please take advantage of this small opportunity to make a big impact. Send them off this summer with a message of clarity, purpose, hope, based on fact, using your words based on other people's words, or quoting others whose thoughts and considerations and perspectives match yours. Send them off with the other side's thinking, if that's something you feel is necessary for you to provide balance for the young people you're talking to. We ask them every day to come into our classrooms, anxious to find out what the lesson's about, wondering if they'll be able to do it. For 180 days, the least we can do is take a couple of minutes filled with our own anxiety and share with them some perspective on what's going on in the world, in our country, in the city in which they live, or even down the street. This is an important time that will be entered into the history books, and how you share with your young people, your students, will stick with them throughout this summer and the coming weeks and months. Because what's happened in the last week and a half does not wrap up in the next week and a half. I fear for what comes in the near future as some police become and take on a more militarized approach to protesting. I fear for people wanting to protest and their efforts being undermined by those who want to promote greater violence or to perpetuate the idea that protesters are violent. I fear for a long, hot summer where the economic situation in this country disenfranchises more and more people, where the virus that has killed over 105,000 citizens in our country hurts even more, kills even more. Your perspective as teachers has always been important to young people moving through their lives. And I hope you're able to do your homework, practice the language you like to use, and send them off with a message from who you are and what you're about, as you have done for so many days and weeks and months recently, so that they can approach this summer of potentially greater turmoil and death with your words in their heads and hearts that will help them battle the fear and anxiety of what is to come next. Good luck to you, and thank you for your efforts. It's not easy what we have to do as teachers, but it is necessary as our young people, especially our young African American students, try to navigate this time in the lives of their family, of their friends, of their greater community, and all of their classmates and families who are trying to do the same. Thank you.